Okay guys, welcome back to another video. This time it's the weekly outlook for um, the week of July 21st. I'm a bit late, the market is already opened. I almost had a position already, but I'm going to, I didn't really get my entry, so no position, but I'm going to explain that later on. Uh, what I want to see now, um, as we can see, price continued from last week. Building from internal structure. Monday continued from internal structure, and then so we could have had a sell on Monday, Tuesday, EUGU, which I had, but it was a break even position. Reason being was it didn't reach my target of a 3RR. So Monday, Tuesday, here we go. This was my sell position. Fib levels. There was a 4-hour fair value gap, and so I noticed we had a break of structure here. Break of structure, retracement into the break of structure's fib levels. At this point, we retraced into it, and then I noticed we had a 5-minute fair value gap after hitting fib levels, taking out this liquidity. This 5-minute fair value gap being respected. So once we close below it on the 1 minute, even though this is a really big stop loss, that's why it didn't work. But almost hit my 3RR. But yeah, that's besides the point. Let's get back to what price did. Continued building from internal, then this was a news candle. So if news weren't there, we could have had a nice buy position. Why? Because we are bullish until proven otherwise. And this buy ended up sweeping this high. Now I'm understanding that we are in our higher time frame bearish structure within fib levels, within fair value gaps, big time frame fair value gaps. We have a weekly and we have a daily. Even though the weekly has been mitigated already, the daily has not. So still daily, big fair value gap. And now I'm looking for price to either continue going down, aiming for this low here, or looking for price to retrace into fib levels to mitigate our weekly fair value gaps, weekly and daily fair value gaps. Uh, Reason I am thinking this now is one, because we've hit fib levels, we've hit higher time frame fib levels and fair value gap, and we've taken liquidity. Uh, this is it's hard to see on the 1 hour, but it's still somewhat of a standalone high. Obviously not as good as this one, but still some sort of liquidity. So we've hit all of these factors. Also paired with the fact that internal structure has failed to make another break of structure, instead it has only swept the high. Also paired with the fact that we have SMT for EU and GU when it comes to this high. So EU swept the low, because EUGU is the opposite of the dollar index. I think it was EU that swept the low. Yeah, EU we can see swept the low, and GU did not. Indication of SMT. Also, again, paired with the fact that another SMT on an even bigger time frame, GU swept the low of the 20th of June. EU did not, just hit fib levels, just like the Dixie, which is the same higher time frame. So I'm seeing a bunch of SMTs. I'm seeing a bunch of fair value gaps being filled. I'm seeing fib levels being filled. I'm seeing internal structure failing to continue building. So for now, my mindset is we at least are going to retrace into the weekly, daily fair value gaps. perhaps take out some of this sell side liquidity, and then after that either I will have to look at reactions from this swing here. Either we continue going down, why? Because we're bearish until proven otherwise, or we are going to continue, or we are going to start our buy phase, or selling EUG, because they're the opposite of Dixie again. Why? Because we've hit fib levels, we've retraced into fib levels, we've mitigated our fair value gaps, and now we are permitted to continue expanding into where? Into an even higher time frame fib level, which is around the 10th of May. So on EUGU, that would be this structure right here. Let me mark it out actually. Why? Because again, we've just retraced into internal structure. So I'm always just doing the same thing, just looking at different time levels. So retraced into internal structure instead of retracing into this whole fibs at the swings fib level. And again, this buy up is again just based on internal structure. Why? Because all of these are sweeps. You can see we've never really closed above this high on the high time frame. On the daily, it's all wicks. And even then, even though this closed above this, I've just seen this so many. This is just a sweep of this high. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at now. So we'll make another video as time goes by.